Steve Gunther is on deck, and I cannot read the next name, but I think that it's Barton Bach, 110 West Walnut. I'm sorry?
Barton Bach.
Okay, you're on deck, sir, after Steve Gunther.
Good evening, everyone. Steve Gunther, I'm president of the Raytown Main Street Association and also a resident at 11705 East 71st Court in Raytown. As I just gave the staff the exhibit from the Raytown Main Street Association, which we gave to the planning and zoning, which you probably already got in the mail from the Downtown Raytown Association. This is our official letter from the Main Street Association, and we'd like to enter it as an exhibit. We are basically addressing 7 issues regarding this development, and they're listed in this report, and there also are comparisons to exhibits to what is being proposed to develop and what our central business design standard has. But the overriding thing that we're really addressing here is the most important design standard that we have is our town square overlay district, and that's what they're wanting to change. Okay, that one supersedes, it goes over the top of our central business design standards and anything else that we have. So they're trying to eliminate the major design standard that we have by putting a plan district over the top. This is not the will of the people. If you don't believe me, put this on an election and see what your results are. The second thing I want to say is in regards to the comment that was made about the aldermen having the ability to change that. That standard that you have for being able to make a change in the design standards is only if there's no town square overlay district. That overlay district supersedes that. So you don't have just the ability to change anything you want without first changing the design standard. The other thing I'm talking about, want to talk about is national retailers and some of the things that what the Main Street Association, Missouri Main Street, National Main Street Association will tell you, and you can get this information from them directly. But a neighborhood market is a neighborhood market. That normally means less than 20,000 square feet. And there's a reason for that. Because any building over that size requires so much parking, off-street parking, that it does not allow for the flexible or the personal contact that comes with putting buildings on the front streets. When you take that away, you don't create a walkable community, and you don't, there's nothing unique or characteristic about a Walmart. Let's put it this way. Look at the building that they designed and compare it to our design standards. It's not even close. This looks like it should be out on 350 highway someplace. There's no difference between the design that they're proposing aesthetically and the design that's out there on 350 highway. There isn't any difference. The other thing, by eliminating the town square overlay district, sure, they're going to ask you to do whatever they can do right now, but you still have every right to impose every restriction that you want on them. Okay? They're not going to cave in now until you tell them what you want. So you have to be able to tell them what you want. And the other thing I need you to really consider is this is much different than most planned changes. Primarily because this isn't a private piece of property being sold to Wal-Mart. This is the Raytown community that owns this. We all own our 6 square feet of it. We all feel it's worth more than $3 something a square foot. And I don't care what price you put on the sale. That price is just a price. it does not relate to the value that we have for it, for our community, and that's mentioned in there also. And then I'm just going to go to my own personal comments. The other exhibit that I'm handing out is something that I put together today. I'm sorry it's handwritten, but I went through a lot of my planning commissioners' journals, and I really need you to consider this. And it's about why our downtowns matter. And I'm just going to read through it real quickly. Why you should consider an alternate plan, and that which I've given you is an alternate plan. And it separates out a parcel of that green space for whatever development or market, grocery store you want to have. But it does allow for development on the north side and west side as a separate parcel, which would entertain more retail, more upfront retail on streets, permeability, and it will also solve your problem of a retaining wall, because the buildings themselves could act as a retaining wall. That facility right there is 29,000 square feet, which is still probably 9,000 over the suggested amount. But the reasons why downtowns matter is downtowns are and always should be extremely efficient in their land use. Their compact designs, densities lead to a walkable fabric and maximize land potential. By putting this store in the middle of that 4 acres, you are losing the full potential of this piece of property. And this alternate plan that I've given you is just for ideas. That's not what I've set in stone or anything else. It's just my personal thoughts of what could be possible if Wal-Mart was really willing to work with us and create a plan that would be both for them and for us all together. Another item on that that I put down there is, we represent an enormous investment in the downtown area. We have a lot of citizens that own property down there that we feel needs to be protected, and it doesn't make fiscal sense to minimize what can be put on that lot when it makes more sense to maximize it. And let's face it, downtowns are to attract people. What person is going to come to this store from outside our community? I mean, the only people that's going to support this store are people from Raytown, and so where are they going to come from? They're going to come from other stores. I mean, so the fact that it's not going to generate additional sales tax, maybe property tax, doesn't make it very attractive. The other thing that I've gotten out of this, my planning journals are, to make a walkable community, you need to think small, okay? Smaller businesses reduce the amount of cars, but also generates more people. Larger stores for groceries should not be permitted to be built above a reasonable square footage. That's a regulations in a lot of communities. They actually enforce the size of big stores like this. Smaller means a relationship to human scale and creating space. I'm not going to read all these because they all make sense, and all you got to do is look through it, and it spells out why downtowns are important to us, and they should be important to you because they are true civic places. They are places where we find community, where we make connections. People aren't going to walk the sidewalks around this store, okay? They're just not going to do it. They're not going to walk from this store across the street to get a sandwich at Good Sense or any other place. They're going to just get in their car and they're going to leave. And, basically it's a destination spot. So you might get a few extra people coming into your business, but it's not what they're expecting. And I'm sorry, but this is going to take away from our ability to have an actual town center someplace downtown. Because I've looked at the comprehensive plan and the map that was there, and if you really look at it and study it, where else would you put a town center, a possible park, a possible connectivity to where we can have civic space? There isn't one. And that's one of the reasons why. Anyway, I'm going to get into a couple finer points. And that's at the end of this list that I gave you on this last exhibit. I think we should limit the store to under 29,000 square feet, preferably 21. I think it needs to face on Blue Ridge Boulevard like I got on the plan. You need to separate out a piece of land just for them. And I also spell that out as far as how much distance is needed to create a retail center to the north of them. I think you need to protect the rights of the businesses on 63rd Street. Any tearing down a building should be automatically shown with a building to replace it. I don't think to tear something down is not revitalization at all. And so any plan that would come before them, before you all to tear something down should be equally provided to you a building to go in its place. All right, thank you very much. The rest of the comments are on there.
Following Mr. Barton, we have Dean Nicholson, please.
Unlike some of the other speakers, I'm not used to getting in front of a crowd other than serving donuts. My name is Marion Breitenbach. I live in 1110 West Walnut and own a shop in Woodson Village Shopping Center. Some of the points I wanted to say tonight, people have already mentioned, so I'm not going to repeat them. And I'd like to thank the aldermen. Whether you're going to let the people influence you or not, I've noticed some of the questions you've asked are some of the concerns that come across the donut shop. A couple of points I'd like to make out. Well, just so everybody knows, I think Wal-Mart just surpassed Exxon in size and scope and money. So we're talking about a big company here. We're talking about a rich company. We're talking about some individuals here that is presenting a plan to the aldermen that is for the best good and service of Wal-Mart. And I'm hoping we have some representatives that look out for the best interests of Raytown. There's no question that Wal-Mart makes money. There is a question as to where this money goes. Personally, I see most of the money go to Wal-Mart. I have many, many friends, many business acquaintances, and many stories dealing with Wal-Mart. Most are negative. When Wal-Mart goes into an area, their job is to maximize profits. When they're done with an area, they're gone. We have Bannister Mall, empty white building. Now the whole area went down, but there's an empty white building. Sutherland went into an empty Wal-Mart building. They walked away from it, it was sitting there, it was our job to replace it. We've still got an empty building on 40 and Nolan Road. Been sitting there forever. That is not good economic development for the area. If Wal-Mart does not meet expectations in the location they're at, we end up with a white elephant. Just so you guys understand this. It's a consideration to all your decisions. What does Wal-Mart do for a community? I don't know all the specifics, but I do know that the Wal-Mart project on 40 Highway is in arrears to the Raytown School District of over $3 million for property taxes. Now, I don't know who's responsible for them. It's probably not Wal-Mart, it's the development. Whatever the development is, somebody owes the school district $3 million. The Wal-Mart development on 350 Highway. I wasn't here when it was done. It's kind of hard to get all the information that I'd like to have. But it was my understanding that there was a presentation presented on what great benefits Wal-Mart would have to Raytown. It's my understanding that those expectations have fall short of what we were sold. The thing that needs to be remembered is this is a sales presentation. It is going to be better than the actual thing. They're here to make a sale. Just like any good salesman is, they're in here to make a sale. It's our responsibility as a consumer to make a good choice on whether we want that sale or not. All deals that I have ever made in my entire life. If I needed it real bad and wanted it real bad, it was not good for me. If it was a deal that I was prepared to walk away from, I did well on it. Don't want something for more than what it's really worth. This is a store. This is a grocery store in downtown Raytown. Both the Wal-Marts, Super Wal-Marts, are only 2.5 miles from that location. Briarwood Shopping Center just did a TIF project here not too long ago to upgrade their shopping center. On April 1st, they defaulted on bond payments. The economy is not a bed of roses. There's no guarantees. Don't go into this project with the idea that we're automatically going to come out smelling like roses. And I really do feel sorry for the businesses in the Raytown Shopping Center. And I truly believe they think Raytown will generate them a huge traffic flow. Businesses, whenever you go into an area, every business generates business for the other business. I'm in Woodson Village Shopping Center. There is roughly 50% vacancies there.
5 minutes.
Every business that goes in generates me money. Don't just give away the farm for something you wish will happen.
Thanks, sir. D. Nicholson is up. I don't see D in the room. That would take it to Chad Jackson with Mark Moore on deck.
Chad's not here.
All right, Mark Moore is up, followed by Alice Tarwater. Welcome, Mark.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've got one question. What is the most valuable thing on the planet besides time? That too. Property. Okay, I'm going to give you a little consensus information here. Raytown 2010 census, 32,000 population. Per capita income is $21,000. Pleasanton, California, 65,000 population. They've got a neighborhood market, Wal-Mart. They said that they're going to make about $50,000 in sales tax for the city. I think they probably do that. The average sales for a Wal-Mart market is $15 to $19 million annually. Huntsville, Alabama, private landowner sells, same footprint, 42,000 square feet, $2 million is what that footprint brought. 650,000 is a far cry from $2 million. So we need to think about that. Now, grocery sales in Walmart for 2012 were about $150 billion. I don't know what the sales tax is on that. That'd be great to have that in Raytown, I know that. The number of Walmart stores in the U.S. is roughly 4,300. 3,700 units across the rest of the world. That doesn't include their buildings, corporation buildings, etc. Now there's a reason why Walmart has empty buildings and nothing ever happens to them. Because they own the property. They own the buildings, they can do what they want. But I tell you what they do, they've got Wal-Mart Realty Company. That's where the money is at. Groceries and Chinese goods, that's just a cheap suit. The real value is in the land. If you put the numbers on paper, these guys are going to own a very valuable piece of land here. Whether you think so or not. I don't think grass is blighted.
That's right.
Like over here. Blighted grass means you call out the lawn company and he sprays your lawn to kill the grub worms. Blighted property is bad, crumbling buildings. That's blight. Crumbling curbs, crumbling roads, crumbling everything. But what I'm getting at is that if you let them buy that property, they're going to do anything they want with it. Now, you own the property. We own that property. We should be able to do whatever we want to do with it. Period. Let's lease it to them. Why not be a landlord? Because if they buy the property and they move out, they own it. Wal-Mart Realty Company will move in and they can do whatever they want with it. Remodel it into offices, whatever. Put a Starbucks on there. If a Starbucks goes there, guess who gets all the revenues? They're going to get residuals off of those pads. Doesn't matter. That's the point. And that's the illusion that's being put on through Walmart. They are the largest property owner in the planet, probably. They probably own $100 billion worth of property. And that's just the Walmarts. So that's some food for thought. Is, do you want to give away the farm? Just like this gentleman said. Huntsville, Alabama, some guy got $2 million for his footprint. We want $650,000. Now, who put those numbers together? City planner? Finance administrator? I'd like to know. I mean, there's lots of houses out there that you can buy for $500,000. But the land is the most valuable thing. That's what they're after. They couldn't care less about the groceries. Because if they go out of business, they own the land. Lease it to them. Just like a landlord would for square footage. The guy over here at this little shopping center, you got to pay what, $7, $8 a square foot to rent the place for tenant space finish. Let's charge them $25. Why not? You'd have lifetime income here. Think about that. Thank you.
Alice Tarwater is up, followed by Jerry Tarwater. Are the Tarwaters here? Okay, moving on. Wayne Gatt, is it? G-A-D-T, 9054 East 61st Street. Wayne? I'm sorry if I mispronounced the last name, sir.
Good enough. It's Gott, but Gatt's is good and been called a lot worse. So, now Wayne Gott, 9054 East 61st Street. When I was planning on making plans to come to the meeting tonight, I was thinking, if I was sitting in your chair, what I would want to hear to make an evaluation of this project, the grocery store that's going in. I come up with three things, and some of them have been touched on. Is this project store filling a need that is now unmet here in Raytown? And by that I mean, are there grocery stores any other place within the area here? I think I can walk 3 blocks down to the store, which is a small store. I can go either way to get a grocery store, east and west, north and south to 2 Wal-Marts. So, in my opinion, we're not filling a need that is not met here in Raytown. Number 2 was, is there anything unique about this development? If it's a Walmart, I can't see that it's unique, being I'd have to drive by a Walmart to the north and drive by a Walmart to the south in order to get here. So unless this store is carrying something completely different than the other 2 stores, a new line of food, maybe an exotic meat that you couldn't get down at the store if you wanted to go to a meat market. Anything that they would carry in this store that you couldn't get at the other 2 stores. Number 3, and it's been touched on, is the employment. And I too think that probably if you put a grocery store, a big Walmart grocery store in here, call it a neighborhood grocery store, but it's a fair-sized store. It's going to take business away from the other grocery stores here in the area, and probably take some employment out of those stores.
I know some folks who work in those stores, and they get better than minimum wage, and they also get some benefits that I hear you don't get it at the Wal-Mart stores. And I've not known anybody, only one person that worked at Wal-Mart, and they do make minimum wage. Some people have talked about this being a precious green space, and it is precious green space right now. I think it's worth more, and I'm not a realtor, than what we're getting out of it. And I agree with the gentleman before, what little bit I've read about Walmart, they like the property. I doubt if they would lease that from you. So they like to get their hands on the property. The other thing I was wondering, if we rezone it to meet their needs, and they do go out, what does that rezoning do to other businesses that might want to come in? Is it zone, I don't know what the zone means. Is it only zone for grocery stores, or is it zone, how could the zone change if the zoning? What else could go in there? Manufacturing, I doubt, I don't know. But anyway, just some points to think about, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Wayne, appreciate it. And Long, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, followed by Ellen Wolf. Welcome, Ann.
I'm Ann Delaunay, 6208 Lane, here in Raytown.
I hope you're going to address the board, please.
I wanted to take just a minute to look at these people. What a great bunch of people. I am so proud to be a citizen of Raytown, and it's because of people like this. So thank them all for coming. I don't want to leave the city just because I'm a citizen here and I live here. Most of what has already been said, I would agree with. Now, there's been a lot of talk about bringing traffic downtown, but there has not been any talk about how you're going to get it downtown. What roads are going to come through to get to that area? Because people are right to be concerned about delivery trucks. People are right to be concerned about congestion. We've seen that at 63rd and Blue Ridge Cutoff with Quick Trip. The congestion there, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on, is a nightmare. What about that school zone and other streets that are residential? And the lovely lady who talked about the garbage, what are we going to do with the garbage? And you know, I was a former resident of New York City, and let me tell you about the garbage. You're not going to believe how loud it is at 4 a.m. I lived across the street from a D'Agostino's grocery store. Every morning, 4 a.m., here come the garbage trucks. And they don't pick up little garbage cans, they pick up great big monstrous things. And they are loud and they bang and they clang and they make their own orchestra cacophony. And you cannot sleep through it for at least a year. Then it doesn't bother you much anymore. But it stinks in the summer because it's hot in the summer. You need to think about that. Because you see, this big store is going to affect these citizens. And they're the ones this is what's important, the people of Raytown. It would be lovely to have a grocery store downtown. We used to have one. It was called a Thriftway. It went away. And now there's an empty grocery store. You see, Wal-Mart, which is a good store. I go to Wal-Mart. But here's the thing about Wal-Mart. It has a couple of syndromes. The first syndrome is the grass is always greener somewhere else syndrome. And they do tend to build, stay for a while, and then leave. I wish they had had the foresight to take the store that they left on Blue Ridge and turn that into a grocery store. It is the ideal business type location for a Walmart grocery store. But they didn't. Is a big Walmart, and I know this is just a grocery store, but is that really the story we want to say, we want to tell about that area in Town Square? Is that what our people want to hear? The other syndrome Walmart tends to have is running local businesses out of business. It's free enterprise. That's what our country's about. They say this is just a grocery store, but I see a pharmacy in it. And you know what? There's a pharmacy right there on the corner. It's a pharmacy that's been there more than 70 years. It's my pharmacy. I like going in and having them know my name. And when I was sick from really tough surgery a few years ago, when my husband went in, they said, "How's Ann doing? She might find this'll help her. This'll help her a little bit." And you know what? Walmart didn't do that. They didn't care. They wanted my money, but they didn't know who I was. So what's going to happen to Fox's Drugs? Right there on Raytown and 63rd Street, right there. And they will be gone because Walmart will have a pharmacy. I ask you to think about the citizens of Raytown. Nothing is as important as the citizens of Raytown. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. I've got Ellen Cloth, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, and I believe Diane Kruzak, are you guys next? Diane's still with us? There you go. I apologize for that.
That's okay, you were close. It's hard. It's close. And I am no longer a Raytown resident. We lived here for 16 years. I now live in Independence. But I work in Raytown. I sometimes shop in Raytown. Where I work is the library, which would be right next door to the store. We have a lot of traffic. Our library is used. It's used a lot. It's used by children. I just heard tonight that this could could sell liquor. I don't want a liquor outlet right next to the library where the children are. We have a lot of teenagers, we have a lot of young children. That concerns me with the increased traffic. We have a senior citizen facility across the street. While it would be handy for them to walk across the street, would it be safe? If we're going to have that much more traffic, I think it would be a danger to all those places, to our high school, to our library clientele, and to our senior citizens. They don't move very fast anyway. I know I'm one. I agree that Walmart tends to leave. They tend to get buildings and they leave, and then we have a mess left behind. While they're here, there is a good danger that we would lose Fox Drug, John's Apple Market, the store. Then when they leave, what do we have? We don't have a downtown grocery store. We have more empty space. I read a study this afternoon done by the University of California in Berkeley. It mentioned that when a Walmart goes in, benefits tend to go down, not only at Walmart, but at surrounding businesses. Wages tend to go down. Because at Walmart, almost no one has benefits. They're all part-time positions. Is that the kind of job that we want for Raytown? Thank you.
Thank you.